Hey everyone, my name is Lizeth Briseño, and today I'll be presenting Chapter 3, the conflict perspective. So, the conflict perspective views substance use and it as a cause and its consequences. Conflicts within individuals and different groups, such as the poor and the rich, or the educated and the uneducated, arise by enforcing the division that already exists. So, sources of inspiration. According to Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the inspiration of conflict perspective is created by those who are in power. Those in power are the ruling class in any type of society, and they are the ones who exploit the powerless, especially in a capitalist society. Lower class individuals commit crimes because they are deprived from basic goods, and the upper class lead to crime when they see an opportunity for financial gain. Now, because of the capitalist society, the punishment is different for each class, and it's obviously because of the money. If you have power, you don't get as equally punished as the lower class individuals. The first major group, which is Marxist criminology, views crime as a political concept designed to protect the interests of the rich, the privileged, and the powerful at the expense of the poor, the disadvantaged, and the ruled. The dominant group defines the term crime to their benefit. Anything that threatens their wealth is defined as crime. Marxist criminology is divided into three different groups. So the first one, instrumental, views the criminal justice system as a tool used by the ruling class to control the have-not members of society. The second group, structural, which backs away from the instrumentalist's position that law is the exclusive domain of the rich. It argues that the law and justice serve the long-term interests of the whole capitalist system. As such, the state functions to control anyone, proletarian or capitalist, who threatens its existence. And the third group, dialectical, which moves further to attend to the effect of the justice system on those who themselves make, enforce, and interpret the law. It points out that the rule of law powerfully conditions the range of possible responses from legal and political authorities. And then the second major group, conflict theories. Conflict theory assumes that crimes results from conflict and rivalry within a certain group. Lewis Worth and Thorsten Selland say that the dominant group has a cultural perspective, as where the lower group has more consequences. George Gold continued the theory by observing that aggression comes in when the lower group tries to defend their rights. When people have more power than others, conflict arises and will continue for a constant change. Freedom comes from those who can afford it when it comes to breaking the law. The third major group, all emerging explanations from left realism, radical feminism, power control theory, abortionist, and anarchist criminology. Left realism is the poor is not only abused by the capitalist system, but also are constantly victimized by street criminals from their own class. Radical feminism arises along with liberal, Marxist, socialist, and women of color feminist theories. Power control theory is gender differences, class position, and the structure of family in the explanation of the crime. And abortionist and anarchist criminology is rejection of state controls. Now, substance use and abuse. Conflict perspective finds applications in only two areas. The first area being empirical research, where studies show that users have conflict with family members, a partner, or within themselves. The second, ideological debate, which views about drugs seem to lodge in the general dynamics of national and international media, economy, and politics. Reports of minorities and immigrants using rarely exceed the norm. Moving on to theoretical framework. So not only does conflict theories of substance use and abuse lay on social conflict, but also on its cause. The definition of conflict is discord of one's feeling or action, the incompatibility of one idea or event to another, or the general situation of disequilibrium, disagreement, tension, or confrontation. Many reasons that can lead to substance use and abuse, and its primary cause to the ultimate consequence. The examine process is to describe, identify, and explore. Now, theoretical image. Substance use is a phenomenon of conflict. When substance comes in contact with the human body, it becomes a conflict. Depending on the substance that is being consumed, one is able to distinguish the social class, such as the rich, they consume wine, cigars, coffee, and the poor, which use glue, speed, and weed. Conflict leads to substance use. Any problems that an individual is having can push them to substance abuse and later leading them to a substance abuse. Conflicts with using can lead to overdose. Substance users are not only people who use substances. So in larger society, users constitute a general interest group. In politics, they advocate for legislation to sanctify use or lobby for public funds to deliver user services. In mass media, they may glamorize substance use by relating it to celebrity, innovation, or liberalism. In trade or consumer markets, they may bargain with every side over every economic issue, from access, pricing, etc. Substance is either medically regulated or legally controlled. Some theoretical components focuses on the construct of ideologies, interests, and actions among people, groups, agencies, and other social forces. Substance as a symbol of conflict symbolizes relationship between humans and their nature environment. So humans are constantly in the search of substances for nutritional, medical, decoration, or even entertainment purposes. Either these substances is made up with materials or are natural. Humans are always trying to outmind nature, but yet don't know its endless possibilities. Substance use as site of contradiction. Substance users usually want to prove something or go against the norms. It can be a source of escape for others. Substance use is told that it's bad by the opposing side, so by the side that's not using, but it's not explained its potential consequences. So now, substance user as creator, messenger, or victim of confrontation, which is both active and passive agents. The active is the used substance, and the passive suffer from the addictive power and other harmful effects of substance. And the passive also faces moral, legal, and social consequences. The user creates any abuse of substance as a message to others. Then, when confronted about it, they victimize themselves. Moving on to conflict typology, nature, initiation, escalation, and resolution. Conflicts vary in type and nature. So, interpersonal conflicts with either the mind and the body, between parents and children, teachers and students, supervisors and workers. Theoretical applications, which is both a subject and object conflict. So the subject conflict would be, why do some substances cause addictions, controversies, and problems more than others? Maybe because of when the substance is consumed. Does it have to do with race, gender, age, or social characteristics? And who's more likely to be punished, the wealthy or the poor? And the object conflict is substance use brought up when a conflict is raised. Empirical test. Identify issues and ideas for serious scientific scrutiny. Case studies trace intra and interpersonal conflicts and its interaction with substance abuse, and historical analysis documents and statistics that show conflict. Survey research, which gathers attitudinal and behavioral information from different social groups, and experiment determines the relationship between physical defects or mental disorder and substance abuse. Policy implications. So, when public health professionals are there to recommend a substance based on the person's needs, but they are not always aware of the person's conflicting interests within themselves. Patients are mostly viewed as objects and targets at the end of the day, and it's all just a business in this capitalist society. Second, social control. Substance use is a rule-breaking behavior that has to be regulated, monitored, or controlled. Third, life and community. The community provides refuge to substance users. Neighbors are there to listen and possibly meet the user's needs. Fourth, work and organization. Before, the workplace would either cover it up or cut it off whenever an employee was using. Now regulations have changed where employees have to get tested before even getting hired, or randomly getting tested when already working. And that's it. Thank you.